Well, hello, Steiff super fans, and welcome to perhaps the most beautiful day of the year yet around these parts. It's such a gorgeous day out. It's about 70 degrees. There's no humidity. There's wonderful bird songs, lots of sunlight. I'm feeling great. And to celebrate that wonderful feeling, I'd like to share with you something today that's really special and really unusual. It's an item with full provenance. And provenance is the history of an item, either in pictures or in words, that really rounds out and gives full context to why an item is so beautiful and so special. And we have a remarkable example of that today. Just so you know, to celebrate this beautiful day, I have my windows open so the fresh air can circulate. So if you hear wonderful sounds like birds singing or dogs barking or a siren or other life sounds, that's what's going on the back of this recording. Anyway, so let's get started right away. So what I have for you is a bear that I've known about for a couple of years. As a matter of fact, several generations of the family that owned this bear had come to my house to share him with me to get an opinion on him. And I suggested at the time that he get a little restoration only to stabilize him so he could receive love for the next 100 years. And that's exactly what had happened. So this bear has finally come back to me, who is now looking for a new home. And I'd like to share him with you because the owners did such a marvelous job preparing him in terms of his provenance and where he is today. So without further ado, are you ready for something beautiful and magical with full history? This is like a history book in the making. So what we have here is this wonderful, wonderful bear. Now, this is obviously a Steiff bear, and he's just beautiful. He's got a very long and pointy nose. He's very early. This bear is from about 1905. And the reason I know that is, first of all, from the history I was given from the family, but he also has the teeniest, tiniest, it's like 2 millimeters, little blank button, and it's hidden right here in the folds of his ears. Now, I'm going to try to show it to you, and I know you won't be able to see it. You have to trust me. Oh, maybe you can. Can you see the glint of it? Boop, it's right there, tiny, hidden in the folds. And actually, the first time that this bear came to see me, the owners asked me to sort of go through all its bits and pieces and parts and pieces to see what I could tell them about it, and they didn't realize it had a little blank button because it's hidden right in deep of a fold. But he has this wonderful little blank button. He's also a fabulous color. In some of his little folds and such, he's a sort of a glowing, almost apricot color. He's got a little bit of wonderful, spicy fruitiness to him. He's just got a wonderful color. I'm sure that's faded over time. You can see sort of highlights of that in where the sun don't shine, and it's okay to look because that's what we do. But he has a wonderful sort of color to him as well. So let's go over him start to finish to explain why he's so wonderful and so typical to 1905, which when I believe he was born. So clearly he's got his very distinctive and early shaped muzzle, his very early nose. He has his embroidered nose, which would be stitched like this, a triangle. His black shoe button eyes. He's got his back hump. And then you see his very long arms. Can you see those? The curved wrists, and they go to, if they were flat, they would go to his knees. So imagine if your arms went down to your knees. And of course, the reason they are that long is because these bears were early and originally designed to be posed like this. So there you go there. His torso is twice the length of his head, and he's got his long legs with the skinny ankles, which seem to be in good shape, and his long feet with 5 claws embroidered on each of his pads, each of his paws. So he is an old fellow, wonderful, but it gets better than that. We started this program to tell you a little bit about provenance, and so this bear and I are going to tell you a little bit about himself. And again, provenance is the history of an item through pictures or words or both. And we have full provenance on this wonderful bear. So let's start out with a visual image. This is a picture of this bear and with his original owner. And she is in what looks to be a studio of some sort. She's with a little teacup and saucer, and she has a spoon to the bear's mouth. And I'm guessing that's just more for modeling than actual eating, because I don't see any food that the bear is eating. And luckily, that sort of eliminated the chance of ice cream or yogurt spilling all over the bear. So that's wonderful, an adorable picture, very period, and this is probably very early turn of the century. Now, let me read you the note that goes along with this bear so you understand its history and background and why it's so special that really we have its whole world in our hands right here. Okay, here we go. Handwritten note. Handwritten note. The bear in the picture belonged to my mother, Alice Bogart Vale. Alice was born in New York City on February 22nd, 1900. As a child growing up in the city, she thought the George Washington parades were for her. The bear was a gift to her and it was purchased from F.A.O. Schwartz. During her school years, the family lived in Locust Valley, Long Island, New York, and later as a young woman, Alice wintered in Pinehurst, North Carolina, which is where she met and married my father, Richard Tufts, a Harvard man from Medford, Massachusetts. She lived in North Carolina until her death in 1961, at which time I inherited the bear. A few years ago, I had him restored, so he's looking pretty good for an old man. Well, I would agree. But he's tired of living in an old cedar chest and wants a new home. Please see that he gets it. Thank you so much. Isn't that wonderful? So this bear was purchased at the turn of last century, as we suspected, at F.A.O. Schwartz. F.A.O. Schwartz has been selling Steiff since the turn of last century. The two Schwartz families and the Steiff families go back many, many years, over 100 years of doing business together. So that is the story of this wonderful bear. And you see how a picture and words make a wonderful bear even more extraordinary. Anyway, that's the power of provenance. And that's what I wanted to share with you today. So as always, thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to our next lecture or unboxing or whatever surprise Steiff brings upon us. They always have wonderful surprises. Who knows what's next? Anyway, Teddy hugs from both of us this time. Stay well, be well, and we'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye for now.